Could you clarify with regards to the Department of Motor Vehicles what any amount justified means?
I think we've got additional people coming to the table.
I'm Mark Monroe, Department of Finance. We understand that in pulling together the workload estimates, that there were some components that the department didn't identify, and so we didn't have enough positions in there. In answer to your question, we're still identifying what the correct staffing level will be and how that's going to affect wait times, and so we'll work with the legislature, obviously, to clarify that, so that if we come forward with a request, we will identify it at that time.
And did the department head ask you for more positions when you prepared the budget?
We work with the department to work on the workload estimate, and what we came forward with was the request.
So we've sort of been making a joke of the DMV for decades. It's in movies. It's like, so I come from county level, and you would go to the supervisor and say, I'm understaffed. What can you do to help me? Because crisis management is not fun. We've just been dealing with crisis after crisis. But if she's been coming to you saying, I'm understaffed, why didn't we dedicate more funds to the Department of Motor Vehicles in the budget?
We worked through a detailed workload analysis with the department, and it was a good workload analysis. It missed one major component that none of us really, frankly, anticipated, in terms of the department had a robust public outreach campaign through flyers, through media, through the internet, to be very clear on what Real ID was and what was required. And what we found still is that the technicians at the desk are spending on average, between 4 and 5 minutes having to explain to customers what Real ID is. And so that was basically the one big piece that we missed. And so moving forward, that's what we're trying to address.
I've been informed that maybe about 5% of those that come in are there for Real ID. Is that accurate?
In terms of the people that come in, I'm not certain about that. I know that I want to say about 30% of the people who are applying for driver's licenses opt for Real ID. But in terms of the workload, we still have to explain it to everybody. And I think that's the thing that they weren't anticipating. If a person comes up and the technicians, we have, the DMV has information right there. Here's what Real ID is. Here's what you need to bring in. And the individual says, what's Real ID? The technician still explains it to them. It still takes that amount of time, which then snowballs throughout the day if that happens repeatedly.
Well, thank you. I'm just trying to still figure out how we run the state of California, and it seems like it's through the Department of Finance, and all we do is maybe throw money at a solution, at an issue. And so I'm just kind of trying to figure out, how do we find metrics? How do we find good management? How do we measure the DMV of California to the 49 other states? And are we the most efficient? Or are we in the middle? Are we at the bottom? So I just would like to know, when we manage, how are we doing it? And then how do we determine what to give? Because any amount justified is a little scary to someone like me who is more of an executive type than a legislative type. So thank you, Madam Chair.